Wonderful good morning. SF Live breaking news special. In a few short seconds, I'll be joined by Jeff Pontius. He's the president and CEO of Corvus Gold, and we're going to discuss the massive drill holes they put out this morning from the Linda Strip discovery in Nevada. But before we discuss those, follow us here on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Really important to us to also hear what you have to say. What do you think of the discovery they made? What do you think of Nevada? What do you think of gold mining? Leave a comment. What do you think of our format? We want to hear from you. And now let me switch over to Mr. Jeff Pontius. Jeff, wonderful good morning. It's great to have you back on. I saw you yesterday at SF Online, but now we got pretty much a new discovery to talk about and some massive drill holes. Run us through the key highlights there.
Well, I think it's really important here for us to understand what Linda Strip is. It's a strip of ground that we control. It's a new discovery that Corvus has come up with. Coeur's drilling this to the south, and Anglo's drilling it to the north. It's a very large zone of oxide gold mineralization. It looks heap leachable. The initial metallurgical data looks really good. Good mining configuration. This is a massive ore deposit. The announcement today is 204 meters of 1.36 grams per ton. This is a great zone of mineralization. It'll be a very low-cost project. And this is the initial phase of what it looks like when you find something like this. And it's really interesting to us because it's a round mountain type example. That means a very large open pit deposit. It's got huge benches in it. It makes for very efficient mining. And with heap leaching, it's a low cost way to extract the gold. And Corvus has got this key land package right in the middle of this new discovery. So we have a lot drilling to do here. We've got another 20 holes in this phase, just evaluating about a kilometer width of the system. And we'll see about how much bigger it gets. We're going to be drilling some stuff to the west, and that looks really encouraging for us. So it's a great result today. So we're pretty happy.
It's a fantastic result, and you actually cut through 3 zones in the Linda Strip, and you also, like, the intervals included 10.5 meters of 9.9 grams. So that's the magical 10 by 10, right? That's what everybody looks for. 37.3 meters at 5.37 grams. Those are astronomical grades for Nevada, right?
Yeah, it's part of the vein system that we have here, and it's within this large low-grade system, very similar to Round Mountain, which has these big, wonderful low-grade mining targets in there with some very high-grade veins in it. Makes for a great deposit. Round Mountain, remembers 20 million ounces, and it's producing about 400,000 ounces a year still today, about 30 years after its development. For Kinross. So it's a great deposit.
Yeah, and can I ask you a technical question? The massive drill hole was called ML20-171CT. What does the CT stand for?
Core tail, which means we drill a pre-collar until we get right in on top of the ore zone, and then we drill the ore zone out with core, large diameter core. Gives us a better representation, and we can figure out geologically what the deposit's doing.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, because I noticed a couple had the CT behind it and a couple didn't, so that's what I was...
Yeah, those ones with CT are core holes, basically.
Gotcha. And so the next question I have now is, like, yes, you said you have a fairly thin strip, the Linda Strip, obviously, of discovery, and you got the 2 partners, Anglo Gold and Coeur. So my brain immediately went to, like, why do you continue drilling? What do you need to prove now that you've had that discovery, right?
Yeah, well, we're characterizing what this deposit is. It's going to be big. We want to know the grade relationships. We want to know how many ounces are on Corvus's ground and how many ounces are impacted by Corvus's ownership for any kind of future mine configuration that would happen either with Coeur to the south or Anglo Gold to the north. And it really gives us a value of what Linda Strip is, which is more than just the value of our current land package.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, you mentioned you want to determine the initial mineral estimate or resource estimate there as well. Like, what's the spacing you will actually need for that, and how many more holes do you have to put in there?
Yeah, we typically for this style of deposit need 50-meter centers, and when we are on looking at these high grade veins, as you said, 30 plus meters of 5 grams, we want to be on 30-meter centers. So that's really dictating what's happening with the drilling. We have a large area to evaluate. It looks like this system is over a kilometer in width. And we're looking at drilling that had been released from core drilling to the south. This thing extends at least about a half a kilometer to the south. So you're talking about something in the 300 million ton range overall for the entire deposit. We're going to put those resources out on Motherlode probably around September. We should have all the data now, analysis on the data, the metallurgy done, and be able to pull the pits to see what's economic in that deposit.
Fantastic. And now, where are you putting the current holes? Where are they being drilled? Like you're testing some of the extensions to the east and west, right? Is that right?
Right. And we're still in the ore body. We're still running into great vein systems, new ones that we're hitting in some of the drill holes that we don't have results for. So we're still going east and west. So we don't know how big it is yet. So so far it's pretty big.
I love it. I love hearing that. That's fantastic. I think we covered everything on Linda Strip at this point. Maybe we can just talk about when you next expect the next results. It's been fairly steady. You just put something out on Tuesday and then again today on Thursday, but we can't expect that from you moving forward. Is that correct?
Right. Well, we put out results about every month. So you can look for that as our results coming out every month. And typically we update people on the CIZ zone or the Motherlode area, which was our first release we did on Tuesday. And then this one we put out a separate release talking about Linda Strip. And that'll be the pattern you see for the next few months. So as we get all this drilling that's currently in the pipeline done and the results back.
Great. While I have you, let's talk about the results from Tuesday as well from the CIZ. They were quite good as well, but we didn't get to do a breaking news special. Let's talk about it real quick and run us through the results. From Tuesday.
It's important for us, those results, because we are defining a new, what we would call a feeder zone or area of high grade mineralization within the Motherlode deposit. Most of this is down in what we call our CIZ zone, which is below a geologic contact, dominantly oxide material down there, quite good grade, really going to be a driver in driving the Motherlode resources up. We should be done with this next round of resource drilling at Motherlode probably by June. And we'll get those results in, we'll model them up, and we'll put out an updated resource for Motherlode in September as well. And we're expecting a pretty good expansion of the Motherlode deposit based on all of the drilling that you've seen since really July of last year.
Okay, fantastic. And any more drill holes coming out of that zone as well? I'm assuming you're drilling there as well.
Yeah, we're constantly drilling that area. So, every month you can look for an update in the area as well. And we'll be looking to expand not only the northern feeder zone, but the central feeder zone. And then a new one we're working on to the south called the southern feeder zone. So there's 3 in echelon higher grade zones of mineralization within that deposit.
Great. And while I have you, I have to ask you that as well. It's a bit of a breaking news summary actually today, because you put out a press release on Friday that you announced at the market financing, an ATM. Can you run us through the details there, and why did you decide on an ATM maybe instead of a bought deal or just a non-brokered financing?
First thing, ATMs are much cheaper. Much simpler to do. We're a U.S. listed company on a senior exchange in the U.S., the NASDAQ. That allows us to do what's called an S3 filing with the SEC, and that allows us to issue free trading paper through this vehicle called an ATM, or at the market financing. And so that basically put out there $12.5 million US of Corvus capital stock that we'll sell over the next 12 months. And we get to pick the time we sell it for, the price we sell it for, and it enables the company to really do a much cheaper and less dilutive financing than our standard sort of Canadian bank bought deals. which are expensive to do. You have to pay the bank a fee, you have to pay the legal review fees, you have to discount the shares, and sometimes they don't end up in the best hands. So this is a good way to finance the company going forward at the least dilutive and least costly way to do
Great.
it.
And for example, I think you could even facilitate block trades or block investments to investors that you more or less
Exactly.
choose, right? So, okay.
And sometimes we get people reaching out to us, and they're interested in buying a block of stock, a free trading stock, and this is a great vehicle for them just to go into the market and be able to do
Okay.
that.
Now, one last follow-up question. Of course, you have AngloGold as a big shareholder. Will they be buying in the market? Like, what's that feeling there? Like, what does it look like for them?
Well, I don't know. I know from my experience of working with Anglo, it's pretty difficult for them to actually go in and buy stock on a regular basis, like say maybe an Agnico or somebody with more skill and has done it a lot more. So typically, what Anglo wants to do when they invest in us, they want to do private placement deals where there's a known price, a fixed amount that's due, and it makes it easier for them to do it from a bureaucratic perspective within the company. So, I don't know, but certainly there are other of our large shareholders that find this a great vehicle to add to their position where they know they can get a fairly good chunk of stock.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is like, Anglo might be actually reducing their percentage in the company based on that smaller financing, $12 million. It's not that massive, right? But the percentage might go down overall.
Yeah.
But what you've done in the past,
it might.
what you've done in the past actually facilitates separate financings just for Anglo. I remember you've done a $2 million financing
Right.
like a year and a half or so ago just for them. And
Right.
that's exactly that example you mentioned. That's how they like to come in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Is that a possibility that we'll see that
typically.
again? I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, certainly we're taking the company forward with a different sort of approach, maybe than they may want to do. I mean, we're going to put the North Bullfrog project into production, and Corvus is going to be a producer. So Corvus is going to be a competitor.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works in the future. Certainly, Anglo is a great shareholder. They've been really good to work with, and they have a vested interest in the district. We'll just have to see how that evolves through time.
Fantastic. Really, really appreciate it, Jeff. And this was more comprehensive than we had originally planned. But since I had you, I had to ask all these questions. So I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. Congrats again on the results. They were fantastic this morning.
Yep.
I hope the market, I haven't even looked at the open yet. So I have to admit, I was getting ready here for our conversation. I hope the market is appreciating them. And we'll talk again very soon, Jeff. And all the best.
All right, great. Thanks, Kai. It's wonderful talking to you.
Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. This was an SF Live breaking news special. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, hit that subscribe and like button, hit that little bell icon, click on the notifications. That way you get notified when we go live with another update. We do all our conversations live. It is important to us, and I hope you get something out of it. Thank you.